back from the dead.
Hi friends! So today we are going to be doing a tutorial, and it is going to be a burn tutorial, and it is going to be a burn more along the lines of something you would see coming from a fire, and complete with blisters and bumps and ripped up skin and blood and gore and all that fun stuff that I just love. So for this tutorial we are going to be using very basic SFX products. I'm going to be using an alcohol activated palette to color my prosthetic. If you don't have an alcohol activated palette, you can absolutely just use cream paints for it. There's no problem with that. I'm going to be doing this on my cheek. We are going to start off with a container, and all you want to do, where's my sponge? Where's my sponge? So we're going to be starting off with clear latex. Taking clear latex, and you just want to take all the little latex boogies off of it, and pour a little bit into a container or a flat surface to use. Leave that at that. I'm using a round sponge. This makes it easier to blend out the edges. The little triangular makeup sponges kind of leave a little bit of a harsh edge, which makes it a little harder to blend out. So I'm using a round cosmetic sponge instead, just because it's a little easier to blend. And then taking a little bit of the latex, just want to put it in along the area of where your burn's gonna be. And you want to get a flat base down first. Now that that is on, you are going to play my least favorite part of this, the waiting game. Waiting for it to dry. And because of the placement in which I put it, latex is very, very sticky. So while it's drying, and even after it's dry, keep the area where you have it extended or it will stick to itself and you're gonna have to start all over again. We are going to wait for this to dry and then continue to build up onto it until we have a little bit of a thicker layer. Gotten to a point when it is almost once we have gotten to a point where it's almost completely clear, you want to go through and just continue to build up on it. Still a little tacky, but about halfway dry. Just want to go through and add a layer of latex, like so, and then go through, and you need a wide-spaced one that you can almost practically see through. Honestly, you can see the light through that. Stipple sponge, go through and just tap over the wet latex to give it texture. So now we're just going to wait until it is completely dry, and then we'll go through and start to add the boils. Now that this latex is dry, we are going to go through and add a little bit more latex to our container. What you want to do is you want to put it in dots around your latex, kind of in boils. You want to use a Q-tip to do this, and you want to go through and just over here. And we're going to go through again with the applying and drying and applying and drying and doing that. And you also can go through and add some like crescent moon shapes to kind of show blisters that have maybe popped or deflated. You want to go through and build them up to give them more of a 3D texture. Now that this is dried, the point where we can work with it, I want to take some, I'm using Ben Nye neutral set. You just want to take a powder and set this so that you can move your head out of this position and not have it stick to itself or to each other. So, taking that, putting a little bit on a powder puff, and then taking a brush and just dusting over the latex. Now you should be able to move your head a little bit more freely. We have blisters and boils and a burst blister and all that. So now we're going to go through with the Skin Illustrator Onset FX palette, which is a mouthful to say. And you want to take a brush. I'm just using a regular old paintbrush here for this, and wet the brush. And then take it, and we are going to start off with the black. Get some of that black on there. And then you want to dilute the black that you have on the brush as much as you can. And then begin to paint. Another brush, we're going to take red and very, very watered down red and kind of start to go over the blisters a little bit. And when I say red, I do mean the actual red tone, not the blood tones, the actual red tone. If the colors come out a little too strong, you can take another empty brush and just spray it with just the alcohol. Spray it with just the alcohol and then go over just to dilute some of your colors again. Alright, so we have our blisters outlined. We want to take the blood tones. With the aged blood colors. If you end up having too harsh of edges, you can go through again with your clean brush, get a little wet with some alcohol, and just going through with the Ben Nye Burns and Blisters wheel, you are going to take this pink fleshy tone right here and dab that on a sponge. And again, you don't want too much on your sponge, just enough. And go around the outside edges. You want to go through with the red tone and kind of go over the same areas you did, but stay a little closer to the burn itself and not so close to the outside. So right about added the irritation to the outside, taking your sponge and taking the purpley red. I'm gonna take that on your sponge. Through some of the blood tone. And taking the blood tone, paint over all of your blisters. You want it washed out a little bit. You don't want a very strong pigment, just enough to give the blisters an irritated, fleshy kind of tone and color to it. And then you want to take the aged blood tone, and right here in this kind of crescent moon, you just want to go on the inside of it and define it a little bit so you can see that it's a little bit of a deflated blister. Now that you've gone through and done that, you want to take your black and get some of the pigment on the brush and then wash I would say probably most of it off. As much of it off as you can. You just want it to give you a black wash. All we're gonna do is take a little bit of lotion, and I'm just using hand cream for this, and you don't want a lot. You really don't. Just enough, and kind of go over just to give it some shine. So now when you put it in light, it'll shine more. And then whatever you don't use of the lotion, you can just rub into your hands. This lotion smells so good. So this is the finished burn look. And this is just one of the many different types of burns that you can do. I will make a tutorial later on showing you how to do burns with a little bit more texture to them using things like cotton and coffee grounds, so look out for that. And this is also a good tutorial to show you how to do blisters if you wanted to do blisters. So you can use these techniques and these painting techniques to apply to other things as well, not just burns. But if you wanted to learn how to do the burn or make the blisters and all that, here is that for you. Alright, so you can check out our joint Facebook page, my Twitter account, Caitlin's Twitter account, our joint Twitter account. I know we post photos and all that around. I post photos on my Instagram if you want to. Right now I'm doing a 7 Deadly Sins segment saga thing. Project 7 Deadly Sins project. So check that out. I have Sloth and Lust done so far. I will have Wrath up sometime next week. Gluttony's coming soon, so if you want to check that out, those photos are on my Instagram, on our Facebook page, and on our Twitter. Be cool, stay happy, and I'll see you guys next time.